Look at your phone. Look at the people around you. Look at the way people speak, dress, joke, argue, even the way they curate their lives online. Notice anything? Everything is starting to look the same. The same opinions, the same aesthetics, the same personalities wearing slightly different clothes. Psychology has a name for part of what is happening, and it goes much deeper than people realize. Think about the last original idea you had. The joke you never posted, the hobby you quietly abandoned, the opinion you softened before anyone even reacted to it. Research shows people often suppress their own ideas before the world ever gets the chance to reject them. Not because the ideas were bad, because of one word: cringe. A single social label, and the brain treats it like a threat. Today we are unpacking the psychology behind that. What some researchers describe as a growing cringe barrier, an invisible psychological wall that quietly pushes millions of people toward the safest possible version of themselves. The foundation of it is something called the spotlight effect, a concept studied by psychologists Thomas Gilovich and Kenneth Savitsky. The brain consistently overestimates how much other people are noticing and judging it. In older generations, this feeling had an off switch. You embarrassed yourself at school, at work, at a party, and eventually the moment disappeared. But social media changed that. Now the spotlight never fully turns off. Every post can be revisited. Every opinion can be screenshotted. Every awkward phase can become permanent. And when the brain feels constantly observed, something subtle begins to happen. Psychologists call it impression management, a concept developed by sociologist Irving Goffman. The person stops expressing and starts performing constantly without even realizing it. Now ask yourself something honestly. How much of what you like did you actually choose? And how much of it slowly formed from watching everyone else? Because psychology observes another pattern here, something called mimetic desire, a theory developed by philosopher René Girard. The idea is simple. Humans do not only imitate behavior, they imitate desire itself. People begin wanting things because other people appear to want them, and social media accelerates this process to a level human beings were never designed for. The same clothes, the same editing style, the same humor, even the same different opinions. Even rebellion starts becoming standardized. And over time, something dangerous happens. The personality slowly becomes optimized for approval instead of truth. The safest version survives. The real version stays hidden. Research on self-concept threat shows that when people repeatedly suppress genuine interest to avoid judgment, the brain slowly disconnects from those interests altogether. A person can hide part of themselves for so long that eventually it stops feeling like theirs. And this is where the psychological damage becomes difficult to notice. Because from the outside, the person still looks normal, successful, social, put together. But internally, many people no longer know which parts of themselves are real and which parts were assembled for an audience. Now here's the strange part. The people who later become outliers, artists, innovators, unconventional thinkers, are usually not people who felt no embarrassment. Research shows they often experienced the same social anxiety as everyone else. The difference was something psychologists call distress tolerance, the ability to feel discomfort without immediately changing yourself to escape it. They felt the cringe and continued anyway. That is the trait most people misunderstand. Originality is not the absence of social fear. It is the ability to tolerate being misunderstood long enough for your identity to fully form. Because when psychology looks at why individuality starts collapsing online, it is never just one thing. It is the spotlight effect running with no off switch. It is impression management replacing authentic expression. It is mimetic desire quietly replacing personal preference. And it is millions of people suppressing themselves so consistently that eventually the performance starts feeling more real than the person underneath it. The uncomfortable truth is that most people are not rejected for being different. They reject themselves long before the world ever gets the chance. And maybe the rarest trait left on the internet is the ability to be yourself before the world gives you permission to. If this made you think differently, comment real. This is Subtext Brain.